Greg Burke, Robinson, Wood, Masala, Elias, Edmed, Sirinen, Geyer and Munro. A very strong forward lineup. Wayne Pearce, the coach, and their opponent today is Eastern Suburbs. The winner will go to the semi-final next Sunday at Gunnedah to meet South Sydney. Silver, Werrett, Hudson, Keogh, Orford, Weston, Shepherd comes in for Brian Smith, Lowry, Hall, Sinclair, Iro comes into the side, Prothero and Gaffey, and Mark Murray is the coach. Tigers, as I said, very strong forward lineup. Players of the calibre of Paul Sirinen, Mark Geyer, Ben Elias. It gives them a very strong complexion. But Eastern Suburbs are one of those no-frills sides that just get the job done. They've got a couple of exciting players. Youngsters with a big future, I'm sure. But in this match today, they'll be looking very much to players like Nigel Gaffey. And from the back, Rod Silver. Even Jeff Orford on his wing, and leadership from Brendan Hall to show them the way. That number 5 for Balmain is Greg Burke, youngster that they found up in the country. A couple of former Tigers up at Ballina, Lismore, that way. I thought that he was worth a run in Sydney. Apparently he's a very good goal kicker. You guys saw him on Wednesday at Newcastle.
He scored a good try, Greg Burke. Kicked some goals, got caught out a couple of times in defence. A couple of players we saw in action for the Eastern Suburbs who I thought were particularly impressive with their centre combination this afternoon. Jason Hudson, who's in 19, and Jason Keogh. Their involvement was outstanding against Parramatta. There you see the 19, Hudson, went looking for the ball at every opportunity. Pretty dusty haircut, Fatty, but
he's got
he
the
can
mop.
hike.
He's got the mop, but what I liked about his game was his enthusiasm, and he's got a good jink and a step, and when he gets the ball, he wants to run.
Steve Edmed took a nasty knock in the sevens. He played in that tournament without the headgear. That's back firmly in place. Well, there's only one thing that's missing here at the moment, and that is the referee.
Yeah, well, the officials have got to get themselves organised here. The players have been standing out there for up to 5 minutes now. There's not much action taken by the officials. These players milling around. There's Tony Iro in the side as well for Eastern Suburbs. Big number 11 for them. Didn't play during the week against Parramatta, and he's one of the major off-season signings for the Eastern Suburbs club, coming across from Manly. He is a strike player. At times there's been some doubt about his work rate, but playing in the second row in the side, you have to be doing plenty of that. So the expectations from Mark Murray for Tony Iro very, very big this year.
Eastern Suburbs, you'll recall, at Marathon Stadium defeated Parramatta 10 points to 8, and Balmain, they came to the quarterfinal with that 11-6 win over the home team Newcastle. In the challenge last year, Eastern Suburbs, they were first round losers to St George, and Balmain were first round losers to Illawarra. Now, at last, we seem to have an official who's going to blow the whistle. Amazing that the players could be left out there for quite so long. David Manson is the referee. And it would seem that the toss of the coin still has to take place.
And 2 hookers captaining the sides out there. Brendan Hall made the conversion. He tosses the coin. Ben Elias, well, he's lost it. Hall makes the decision. They'll run the way they're going.
Of course, this pre-season sponsored by Toohey's is an offshoot, or maybe that's not the right word, but it's the carryover from the old Amco Cup days. If you look at the record of the pre-season, it will be listed amongst the Amco Cups, the National Panasonics, the Tooth and KB Cups. And Eastern Suburbs won the Amco in 75 and 78. Balmain won the National Panasonic in 85 and 87, and the Amco in 76. They clashed in round 9 of the Winfield Cup last year, and Balmain beat Eastern Suburbs 18 points to 7. There's the start, and we'll be with this match live through to the news at 6. And then we'll bring you the last half recorded between 6:30 and 7:30. Gaffey. And the first penalty of the game against the Tigers. Nelson telling Sirenen to keep it up.
Big Ciro's fired up. A big first up tackle on Iro, and then this one on Gaffey. And he wanted to go on with it in the tackle. And another mistake made by East. Hasn't found touch, and Timmy Brasher makes good ground.
Elias was passed for Edmed. Edmed looked to be as though he was looking at everything else other than the football. Lowry brings the ball out for Eastern Suburbs, and the ball goes forward, so it's going to be a scrum to pack.
You want to say it's Stello or me?
Mistake-a-thon.
Mistake-a-thon.
David Manson scratching his head. He doesn't know what's going on. Both sides, they haven't held it for a tackle as yet. Nathan Wood speeds the scrum 20 metres out from the opposition's try line, and a very deep back line set by the Tigers.
Coming in from that left wing is Greg Burke. Hard to find an opening in this early part of the game, but as good a time as any, I suppose, following a scrum for Balmain. Edmed almost willing another use of the football. Robinson. Geyer. Pass off there for Brasher. About 8 metres away from the line, David Baysari, the dummy half. Sirenen concedes to the defence. And a grubbing kick taken in goal by Jeff Orford. No headgear today. Will he get back? Yes, he does. Good effort by Jeff Orford. This is Keogh. Prothero. Some of your former colleagues, Blocker, are all steamed up in the early part of this one.
Yeah,
with Jason Hudson making a break for Eastern Suburbs. Sorry, Block, back to you.
You're right, mate. Look, we were mentioning the better-known Balmain forwards, but one to watch out is for is Martin Masala. I doubt if there's a better front-on hitter in the game than him.
Eastern Suburbs getting the penalty.
What about Hudson? Doesn't he run well? Steps and jinks. He was doing that all night the other night too. And set for another big game, Hudson.
Let's go back to how they got possession. Orford did an amazing job to get in the field of play. He put the best body fake on David Ronson, who was chasing through, you've ever seen. And now, 6 rucks later, you've got Jason Lowry taking it inside the 20-metre area. The first good attacking opportunity for the Roosters.
Sinclair met by Masala, head on. Weston gets the pass out the back. Keogh lofts it over. Orford tries to wrong foot them, but the Tigers are alert. Brendan Hall through Shepherd. Weston gets away from the tackle from Sirenen, and they're just inside the 20-metre line. Hall shows it and now gives it. Shepherd hands it off. Gaffey tries to go through. Marsala was there to pull him down. Geyer got involved. Brendan Hall away. Into the air it goes off the boot of Shepherd. It's a towering bomb, and there's a chance here for East, but put over the dead ball line. Morven Edwards the man.
Excellent kick there coming down around the try line area. Even the final bounce was a good one. Misread there by Morven Edwards in flight. That looked like it was going to bounce back into the field of play, and Edwards was forced to play at it once again.
Will Robinson the line drop out, and Balmain contending breeze that's into them. So they come up Eastern Suburbs on the second tackle, and they're already inside the 20-metre line through Brendan Hall. Sinclair back into headgear himself today. Brendan Hall goes himself from dummy half. A couple of metres away. Iro coming from the right. Found himself running across the ground, and that made him an easy target. This is the last. Keogh spears it out. It came off the boot of Shepherd, charged down by Balmain. 6 more tackles to the Roosters, and they're 10 metres out from the line. Can Balmain hold them at bay now? Lowry is tackled 3 metres away from the line. Brendan Hall goes to the right, finds Shepherd, then Weston. Weston for Keogh, Keogh for Hudson, forward. But it's forward.
Oh, gee, it was a well-worked move too. It was a beautiful pass from Craig Weston. And there's the penalty for the deliberate forward pass. The referees have been told something about that. Gee, it was touch and go. Well-worked move. Jason Keogh coming late. Touch forward, Paul.
Well, the referee was right on the spot. We're on a different angle here. Balmain not in the game as yet. Trapped in their own quarter for the last 5 minutes.
Edmed. Benny Elias, the dummy half, of course. He's a player under siege from within and from outside his club, if you read the papers. Brown, a very, very good hooker understudy to Ben Elias for some time. He's putting pressure on him. And Jim Sedaris, it's almost like a campaign on behalf of Jimmy Sedaris. I see a couple of pages about how he wants the state number 9. Good luck to him, but I don't think I've seen as much publicity about a battle for a position in such a long time.
So early in the season.
Absolutely. We've got to go back to Sterling v. Mortimer. But the Sedaris Elias thing, it's attracted plenty of column inches, I'll give you the tip. Masala. On by Benjamin Elias there, and that won't make him very happy. Mark Geyer, he was going up on the blind side. He's still fuming. Geyer, he's kicked the ball to the you-know-what.
Well, Elias is under siege. And look, he's made the State of Origin series for the last 5 or 6 years, but there really has never been a threat to him in the hooking role as far as I'm concerned. No one's been good enough to threaten his position. I believe now there is, and Sedaris, all he's got to do is keep a level head, keep playing the good football. I think he'll make it.
Gaffey coming away from the base of the scrum. Young man Shepherd fills the number 7 jumper today in place of Brian Smith, who took an injury out of the game on Wednesday night. Let's go down to the sidelines. Steve Roach.
Yeah, it's good that Jim Sedaris wants a hooking job, but how about he does it on the field rather than in the papers?
I agree, Bob. And there's plenty of football going to be played between now and rep footy time as well.
Silver. Brendan Hall, convert from 5'8" to number 9 jumper. Shepherd, my goodness, he gets this ball up high. And there's nothing wrong with his bombs. Balmain coming down with it. Mark Geyer it was, and now a knock on again is it by Balmain. That's the ruling. Look at Geyer. This is what happened. East got to it. That put Mark Geyer firmly on side. He's tackled. The ball comes out of the tackle. Got some assistance from Rod Silver's knees, but I don't suppose that's considered to be raking the ball out.
I believe he let that ball go and looking for a penalty.
Well, it's a dangerous place to do it. Nigel Gaffey, I thought for a moment was going to hurt him first up. It goes back to the right. Eastern Suburbs with territorial advantage. This is Hudson. Tries to step through. Good defence by Balmain. Back and play to Hall. Behind Iro. He's put away about 9 metres out from the line. Wirrett now. He's going nowhere. Picked up by Nathan Wood. Still about 7. Now they're 15 out. Back to the 20 line they come. Looking for space. And this is Weston. Weston takes it back within 5 metres of the line. 5 tackles gone. And it's Shepherd. Puts the grubber into the in goal. And well read and forced there by David Ronson.
Well, I thought the reaction time of Eastern Suburbs was fairly ordinary after the bust by Nigel Gaffey. It resulted at the end of the 6 with that kick. They went back to the right-hand side of the field and nobody had set themselves to take advantage of the great work done by that man. And you've hit the nail on the head with Tony Iro, Ray. He's got to run straight. Gaffey straight through a tackle. Now, when they went back right, Balmain had to be in strife. Look at them, staggered line, but Eastern Suburbs had a lot of troops there, but they just weren't in the right position. Hudson, well, he nearly got through, but a great tackle from Paul Sirinan.
Now, Mark Prothero. Talking of converts, from wing to second row for Mark Prothero. Brendan Hall. Nothing on the board after 11 minutes. Jason Lowry is tackled. Slid out of the tackle from Will Robinson, but here it is going to the right with Iro using young Hudson again. This youngster is only about 3 metres out from the line. Shane Werrett delivers to the left for Shepherd. Shepherd tries to step. He gets a pass away. And it's play on. This is the last tackle, though. Played by Brendan Hall. It's with Craig Weston. He puts it up for Keogh coming fast. He got a bump out of the road. And that was good football. The Balmain player played within the rules, I might add.
Yeah, well done by Dave Bronson to collect this ball in the end. Plenty of East players coming through. Keogh.
Well, hang on, you're kidding about playing the rules. If we can have a look at that quickly again, have a look at Baysari change direction with no thought of getting the football at all. That's the first play from the tap. That's Munro taking the ball forward. The kick goes up. Now watch the number 4 for Balmain. He turns, he goes straight for where the chase is coming from and pushes him straight out of the road. Penalty Eastern Suburbs.
All right, that's your opinion. Simply making the point that when you're in pursuit of the football, you can jostle with your hips and your shoulders.
He didn't even know where the football was, Baysari.
He might have been wondering where the football was. But anyway, here's David Ronson galloping into some space, Sterlo. He's got a man inside, Benny Elias, and Elias goes over to score. Well, there's a bit of age in that try. There's a bit of age in that try, old David Ronson and Benny.
And a bit of age in Laurie Nichols there too as he goes off once again. Laurie, Balmain, what a turnaround this has been. Under siege on their own. Elias, the wily old campaigner, look at this. He draws in Jeff Wolford and Ronson gets around. The kid, we call him, over at Manly we used to, and a nice ball back into Elias. And Balmain, a great try to them.
And they fell apart, Eastern Suburbs, there around the marker area. They had 3 and none of them went after Elias. Orphan felt committed to go in. Ronson, the big step inside Silver. That's one Silver normally puts on opposition players. Great support. The man who started the play finished the play.
Incredible piece of work by David Ronson in particular. I mean, the backing up of Benny Elias is something we've come to consider normal, but Ronson got around Orford on the outside, and he only had a couple of metres to work in. David Ronson. Did he not go to Newcastle?
And West last year, and he's been given a chance by Wayne Pearce at Balmain. He has got a contract with them.
Here's young Greg Burke. Hits it sweetly. Oh, that's beautiful. Balmain leading 6-0. How many times does it happen? A team weathering a storm, it's really been incessant. Eastern Suburbs hammering at Balmain, and then all of a sudden they take the pressure valve off and Balmain's in at the other end. Good stuff. And we were just in dispute over what should have been, in Sterlo's opinion, a penalty to Eastern Suburbs at the other end of the park. Paul Sirinan ran quite a way to take that catch and then takes it outside the 20-metre line. Richie Connell has gone on for Balmain in 15. Matt Munro.
Replacement made by the Tigers. In number 8, Danny Stapleton goes on, replaces Paul Sirenen. He's had a strong start. Rod Silver gets the bouncing ball, but have a look at this line of defenders from Balmain. That's tremendous kick chase.
Sirenen has come off. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. It might be Pearce's idea to rotate his big men fairly frequently. Edmed is also back on the bench. Werrett. Barry. Shepherd spinning it. Iro passing. Keogh gets the pass around the corner, but his wingman had gone infield, Jeff Orford.
There's good defence there by Balmain. They were outnumbered, but they drifted in defence and put the pressure back on the Eastern Suburbs attack.
It's always difficult to defend against somebody who can pop the ball out the back and get a second wave going.
Just watch what Ronson did there.
Yeah.
He looked inside, he said to David Bassarona, you've got him covered, I've got the outside man. In the end, he wasn't needed.
Morgan Edwards linking up with the back line. And this is Stapleton. Hudson Smith has gone on in 16. And now Nathan Wood almost through. He had support looming. And this is the support man now. Robinson showing it. And now pushing it wide. And Balmain with Richie Connell tackled 10 metres out on the last. It goes away for Wood. He regathers, gets over the line, but he's held up. Let's check it with the in-goal judge. He's given the try.
Yeah, I think the momentum took him over. If you have a look at it, it was a great tackle initially by Craig Weston, but I think the momentum continued the roll. Great work from Nathan Wood.
Yeah, he's had a great game so far, Nathan Wood. And look at this, there's plenty of East players there. Now, that player there, I think it's Weston, couldn't control Nathan Wood. He scored a great try. He's just made a break and finally gets over for the try as well.
This shows it perfectly. Let's have a look at it. He's going to be held up, but the momentum carries him through.
Yeah, good work. He got our man of the match the other night against Newcastle, had a great game. What I liked about his game so far today, his defence. I've noticed a couple of times he's got off his line when they were under siege before. Came out with some very big tackles.
Craig Weston's really outsmarted himself there. It's become a play that's quite common to not only get underneath the football, but drag them over the line with you. And of course, it has bounced back and hit him in the face on that occasion, because it's that final roll that has seen him put the ball down. But Greg Burke, successful earlier, and this time very wide of the uprights. But Balmain are looking pretty good, and Wayne Pearce would have to be happy after 18 minutes. They lead by 10 points to 0. 2 tries. What do you think, the former Tiger on the sideline?
Yeah, I think they're playing pretty well at the moment. You see the sweatbands the Balmain players are wearing. What they're saying, in the humid conditions, sweat rolls down off their arms and it absorbs all the sweat. Not a bad idea, so their hands don't get wet.
Oh, leave me alone.
See, so the tennis players, what are they with?
Should be at Wimbledon. Well, there's another mistake from Eastern Suburbs. There's been plenty of them in this first 19 minutes as we come to the first quarter break. Breezes against them here, so I wouldn't imagine them kicking for goal. They have got time for a set of 6 if they get about their business quickly, but there's no urgency at all.
Just realised that block, and they've all got sweatbands on both wrists. They all look like Boris Becker's and Pete Sampras.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Actually, Benny's been wearing it for years. I thought just because they look cute.
Oh, it looks lovely.
No, they look good, along with the small men's shorts and all that. They look
I
sensational.
tell you, if it keeps the water off your hands, you don't lose the ball. It's doing something, isn't it? They're leading by 12-0, isn't it?
No, it's 10.
10. Oh, well, whatever.
And another mistake made there. Seen a couple of times throughout the whole day, not just in this game, but people not finding touch with the penalty kicks. It's an ordinary mistake.
This is Weston wrapped up inside his own 20-metre line. Nigel Gaffey. Scott Sattler is now on in jumper number 15, the son of John. Barbara. And this is Morvan Edwards. As the siren sounds, Edwards takes the tackle. And so a very good first quarter for the Tigers, particularly. They lead Eastern Suburbs 10-0. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back live to Narendra and the sports ground, where a crowd of around 7,500 have been entertained here right through the afternoon, and you're seeing it live on the Rugby League Network, the National 9 network, with Balmain leading Eastern Suburbs 10-0. And this is the start of the second quarter. We're going to probably lose about 5 minutes of this quarter because of a news commitment. We'll be back with Rugby League between 6:30 and 7. Recorded the last half of this match for you. 10-0 in favour of Balmain. 2 tries, 1 for Ben Elias and the other for their halfback Nathan Wood. And that came after Eastern Suburbs probably had, on the territory basis, on the territory barometer, call it what you like, 70% almost of territory advantage. Balmain only saw Eastern Suburbs area a couple of times, and they scored twice as Brendan Hall makes a good run, a good gain for Eastern Suburbs. 35 metres out from the Balmain line. It comes to the left and goes off the boot of Shepherd. And Balmain have lost it. A chance for Eastern Suburbs. Prothero looks for support. It goes to ground, and they look like they've bombed a great opportunity there.
Well, it seems to be their main tool, doesn't it, the high bomb, Eastern Suburbs. And nearly came off on this occasion as Shepherd put the ball up, and it's missed by Ronson. Actually hits him, goes back. Actually might have been even tapped back by Weston. And Prothero gets the ball. Plenty of support there, but the ball did go astray, as it has now, and Eastern come back into possession.
Oh, he's done well there, Keogh. In the background of that replay, you saw referee Manson signalling 6 again. That was a man who threw the pass that went to ground. Fortunately for him, they've got possession back immediately.
Played by Prothero. They're just outside the 20-metre line, as you can see. 17 is Jason Tassel. And Eastern Suburbs are hoping to score first up in this second quarter, to quote the obvious. Scott Sattler. Pressure time for Balmain. Gaffey held it for Keogh, and Balmain come away through Nathan Wood. I think he's going to make it. He's centre, Jason Keogh. He just does so many good things. Maybe that came unstuck for him, but he puts his body on the line, and he's a thinker. Well, Edmed has left it behind now, and a knock on against Eastern Suburbs, so a scrum will go down, but it'll be an Eastern Suburbs feed inside the Balmain 20-metre line. South Sydney out of jail against St George, getting home in the previous quarter-final, 17 points to 15, and booking themselves a berth at Gunnedah in the semi-final. Gaffey from the back of the scrum stands in the second tackle, turns it back to Shepherd, gets his arms free, may have come off a Balmain player and raked back in by Shepherd.
The touch judge that's come racing in. There's another scramble, seen Hudson clean up. Touch judge will come in later on, I'd imagine. Advantage continues.
Lowry it is, trying to bustle his way over the line. This is where Eastern Suburbs, they need a playmaker to take control. They did this against the team on Wednesday night, Parramatta, and now they start to spread it. Shepherd finding Weston. Will Robinson came up very quickly on the outside. Now Silver gives it. Scott Sattler got involved. Tassel plays it. Silver a dummy half. Shepherd gets the bomb in, and this seems to be their main strike weapon, as Paul Vorton has said a couple of times, but you saw it yourself. They had 6 tackles there, and really, apart from the bomb, they didn't threaten Balmain.
Well, they've had plenty of tackles so far in this match on the Balmain line, and they've done nothing whatsoever. Watch a side like St George, there's always something happening, a big play being put on, but East is showing little or no imagination at this stage.
Well, midway through that set of 6, we saw Brendan Hall run out of dummy half with nothing on, like a complete waste of a tackle. Munro takes it to the halfway line, and you just can't afford, when you're in that area, to waste tackles like that. You really should be in a try-scoring position, or putting something on to get the ball over the line on every occasion.
Geyer starts to take the ball up. Masala's pass was a beauty. Nathan Wood will score his second try. The pass from Masala was just champagne.
Oh, magic.
Beautiful stuff.
Magic stuff from the Tigers. They're running riot here at Narendra Sports Ground, and Nathan Wood finished off a second try. Look at this inside ball by Geyer. He drifted it past Sirinen. Some poor defence there by, I think it was Prothero and Marcella, a magic ball, and Wood had the pace to go on with it.
Yeah, you'll see some very lazy work from Scott Sattler, the number 15 for the Eastern Suburbs side. Didn't move up with everybody else. The final pass was beauty. Have a look at the side step again. Silver, like I say, that's what we normally see from him. But already both Ronson and now Nathan Wood have put a great move on him to defeat that last line of defence.
How confident is he, Nathan Wood? He had a mile of support and he just shunned them completely. Burke converts the Nathan Wood try. Balmain 16. Eastern Suburbs yet to score after 25 minutes. Plenty of Balmain supporters here at Narendra. They are one of the most popular clubs. It doesn't matter how far and wide you travel. There always seems to be a Balmain supporter wants to talk to you.
You'd have seen a lot of Nathan's father, wouldn't you, Ray? Barry Wood. He never had a step like that, did he?
I'll tell you what, he was very fast, Barry Wood. You're talking about the North Sydney and Newtown player.
I did actually play against him a long time ago.
I think he starred in a rugby league New Faces at one stage. Well, Mark Geyer must have been just inside that touchline.
Yeah, Mark Geyer probably should have been standing outside the touchline there. If he'd have reached in and touched the football, it would have been out. Even if he'd have let that go, I think it probably goes out on the full. He's done the soft shoe shuffle to stay in field.
Well,
whatever.
He's something there like Ken Gallen.
I like that.
Actually speaking, Mark Geyer would have been much better off standing on the line, because if he marks the ball on the full and he's standing on the line, it's a penalty to Balmain at the middle of the halfway. So I can't understand a player of his experience flirting with the sideline like he was.
Everything going well for Balmain here. Nice kick there. Again brings them down inside the 10-metre area from Eastern Suburbs. The Roosters feed, but Weiss marshalling his troops.
He must be ecstatic, Wayne Pearce, just taking over the Balmain Tigers. They've had a couple of lean years. They played some good football the other night too against Newcastle. Not easy to beat Newcastle up there.
Anybody brings the double, they can be kind here at the broadcast box, and the main raffle will be drawn at half-time.
This is Keogh. Wayne Pearce, first year of coaching with the Tigers. It probably seemed obvious that one day he would finish up in that role. Balmain have had fewer, more popular sons than Wayne Pearce. One of them works with us now, of course, Blocker Roach. But Wayne Pearce's name, it ranks alongside Keith Barnes, I suppose, for popularity at Balmain. He never got offside with too many people. Wayne in an illustrious career.
No, Ray, I roomed with him for 3 months on a kangaroo tour. And Davey Field, he used to hide Mars bars and packets of chips in there. The rest of it's all for show. Forget this muesli and yogurt rubbish. There's plenty of junk involved.
Steve Roach on the sidelines might like to have tuppence worth of that.
Yeah, mate, yeah, no, Junior, pretty honest, mate, pretty honest. An interesting player for the Balmain side, number 2, Chris Morecambe. He's from Taree. He played in the Jersey fleet for Balmain last year. He's very, very quick.
Let me throw in that Mark Murray down here is very concerned about East's defence. He said they're moving up in dribs and drabs at quarter time. Once again, that's the reason why Balmain scored that try earlier in this second quarter.
Ben Elias just dropping it onto his foot and finding about 20 metres, so that'll force the scrum. They mightn't come away with the football, but at least they've got the territory on their side. I was just talking to a couple of the locals here that are involved in rugby league and cricket, for that matter. And they tell me that this ground was used, some running repairs there for Nathan Wood, was used for a country music festival back in November. And the council and the organisers of today haven't let anybody near it since last November. So keen were they to prepare a nice surface to go on show on this day.
They should be very proud of themselves, Ray, because it's as nice a country ground as I've seen travelling through the state.
Tassel.
You've seen plenty of territory, you have. Last few months. 16-0 Balmain after 29. And this kicker's going to find touch just outside the 20-metre line. So it's a period of the game where it's sort of push and shove, and it's my turn, now it's yours. But Balmain, they can relax, if there's such a word in rugby league. They can be content in a 16-0 lead.
They're pushing and shoving a lot harder at the moment. And what I like about their play, the difference between the two sides is that East, as I think it's Jason Tassel leaving the field, but East are not doing much with the football. Balmain, they're putting a few moves on, plenty of variety around the rucks. And they're creating opportunities for themselves.
I'm sure that Wayne Pearce won't want them to settle on this 16 points to 0 lead. You mentioned in the North-Brisbane game the other night when Brisbane got away to 18-0 in front, and it had to be North who scored next. And I think the same applies here in this game. If Eastern Suburbs aren't the team to put the next points on the board, I just think it's too much of a start. Elias looking for support, doesn't find any, gets over the 50-metre line.
It's a terrible pass for Baysari to field, although I do think he was probably entitled to catch it. The defence hadn't got anywhere near him at the time.
He's normally got very, very good hands, throws a lovely pass, and taking the football, he swallows those. And had a bit too much time to think about it. This is the chance that Eastern Suburbs were looking for. The mistake, Gaffey picks up from the scrum base, back inside to Hudson. He looks to be, well, those two players involved there, both Gaffey and Hudson, look to be their two best chances.
James Smith, that's great defence by the Tigers. They're very committed today, and Ciro really worked hard on the tackle to drive James Smith backwards.
This is Tony Iro, and again he wants to go across the ground, and Prothero was there that time. The 16 for Eastern Suburbs is James Smith. But Iro hasn't threatened. He might here because he is going straight. It's about 18 metres out from the line. This is the last. Kick across the ground was a shocker. Absolute shocker. And eventually David Ronson came down with it for Balmain. 12 metres from the halfway mark.
We've got a problem here for Eastern Suburbs in the background. Jason Keogh signaled straight away to the bench that he was gone.
This is Hudson Smith. Elias, he knows exactly what's required. Points are on the board, really. Provided they hold field position, there's going to be no drama. Gary Belcher on the sideline.
Well, we see Jason Keogh down there. He seems to have a knee injury. Another knee injury as well. Jason Tassel limped off before. They suspect cartilage damage.
Yeah, well, good getting the stretcher here for Jason Keogh. And when you have a serious knee injury, a cruciate or a bad medial, you know straight away you can basically hear the tear, feel the knee go, and that's what Keogh did. His reaction was immediate. See there, he's at marker. Good run out from Markham. He gets involved in the tackle, and the left leg, I think it was, you saw him prop badly on it, and there's the hand going up to the bench. Let's have a look at this.
Like he half-pipe dragged it along the ground, and it's just collapsed on him.
Yeah, he's just got in the wrong position there. He's fallen badly on it as well. And fingers crossed for Keogh. He's an up-and-coming player for Eastern Suburbs. And the last thing that you like to see in a game of rugby league is the stretcher called for.
There's going to be a punctuation in this game. Whilst Jason Keogh is stretchered from the ground, we've had quite a few players taken off here today with injuries. St George at one stage, their bench looked like a hospital zone, and most of them very big names. And here's me about 5 seconds ago saying that this young man would make it, and I hope he does. But if he's going to have major construction or reconstruction on that knee, that won't help him. The scrum is going down inside the 20-metre zone, Eastern Suburbs end. We're about 3 minutes away from leaving the bulk of our audience for a news commitment. Just reminded, following the news for Sydney and Brisbane anyway, and for some other stations, we'll be back with the recorded third and fourth quarters of this game, in which Balmain leads currently 16 points to 0. Shane Wirrett 40 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. And this is Nigel Gaffey.
I see him trying to put something on there. Craig Weston didn't commit anybody. He just basically ran across and gave Nigel Gaffey the ball. He had to go to the defence and try and commit one of those defenders, which in turn may have opened up something for Gaffey. As it was, it just left it all for him to do.
Talking Chris Markham, the boy that Blocker was talking about, just there for a second as he started to get into stride, I thought, my God, that looks like Larry Corowa. Did anybody think that for a moment?
Exactly the same thing, yeah.
Just wasn't he a good winger for Balmain, Larry Corowa, and for Australia? Mark Geyer, anxious to get another taste of this.
Side and camp on for Eastern Suburbs now. The kick will go up again, will it? No, they've decided to run it. Scott Sattler throws the bad pass, Balmain cleaner.
Brasher. That's Masala. Laid on a good try earlier. Now Geyer storming onto it. Good defence by the Roosters. Welcome back now to Narendra, where Eastern Suburbs and Balmain are playing the last of the quarterfinals in the Toohey's Challenge. And Balmain have got a commanding lead, 16 points to 0. No change to the scoreline that you last saw. Balmain were attacking just prior to us breaking for news commitments, but nothing came of that, and Balmain leading 16-0 at the start of the third quarter or second half. The winner of this match will go on to meet South Sydney in the quarterfinal at the semi-final, I should say, at Gunnedah next Sunday afternoon. The semi-final has already been decided at Alice Springs, of course, and that'll be played between Illawarra and Brisbane. And here's Mark Geyer, who did a couple of good things in that second quarter, starting to inject himself into the play. Balmain's halfback 5/8 combination have been good, particularly Nathan Wood, the halfback, scored 2 tries. But Eastern Suburbs have been disappointing. Moves that they can finish off their try-scoring attempts. They relied pretty much solely on the bomb. Sinclair it was who played it. Iro came up and then shoveled the ball down for Lowry, but he had little or no chance of taking it in. Balmain have come up with the ball. They describe that as an advantage, but I'm blowed if I know how that's an advantage sometimes when you've lost 20 metres to pick up the football.
He gave it plenty of time, Vince, and I thought he would have eventually, when he saw how far it was driven backwards, I thought he might have just packed the scrum.
Yeah, Greg Burke was just, might as well let the ball go.
Exactly.
You see, I don't believe Balmain have gained any advantage until they get back to where the breach was made.
Well, that took them 3 tackles.
Absolutely. That's where the tackle count should start. If, in fact, you're going to describe it as an advantage rule. Masala played it there. This is Will Robinson lofting it over the top. The runners are a mile back, and Silva, he doesn't have to worry at all. So that was really a kick that I'm sure wasn't rehearsed, or there was a breakdown in communication. And you, Balmain, are dealing with 2 rookie wingers. Chris Markham and Greg Burke. There's got to be some room there for them to learn the game, particularly at first grade level. And this is as good a place as any for them to learn, I suppose. Here's Sinclair now, 40 metres out from his own line. 3 tries to Balmain, 2 to Nathan Wood, the half, and the other was scored by captain courageous Ben Elias. Ira crushed the back of the ruck, picked off by Edmed. Brendan Hall's kick sees Greg Burke scamper back into the in goal to retrieve and bring it back. Hudson came down the ground very fast. Burke was only just able to make it back into the field of play, and now Morgan Edwards struggles outside the 10-metre line. Stapleton. Geyer says, I want it, and there he goes, crashing into the defence. They've got a formidable lineup, Balmain, when they're all firing. Imagine having just contended with Geyer, and the next bloke that wants it is Sirinen, and then throw in for good measure Edmed. Let's go down to the sidelines, Gary Belcher.
Ray, the latest on Jason Keogh. He's got a torn cartilage and medial ligament damage. He won't be back this afternoon. Mark Murray's comments at half-time to East. He wants more urgency in defence all over the park, not just on their own try line. He wants in attack some of the individuals in the team to take charge rather than just use their team plays.
Yeah, very happy Wayne Pearce. He just told his Balmain blokes just to stick to the same thing they've been doing. They've got to prove to themselves that they can go on with the game. They've got to go on with this one. And also there's plenty of easy yardage in the middle of the ruck.
Iro. Silva. Able to get the pass away, I don't know how. Brendan Hall now gives it for Jeff Orford. Orford away, and this is Hudson who comes stepping back through the centre. He's about 25 metres out. This is the last tackle, and it's with Shepherd who puts in the low trajectory kick this time. Greg Burke.
He's been fairly ineffective today, but with Jamie Shepherd. I know that he's coming from Brian Smith. Really, Balmain aren't giving him much time to put anything on. The kicking game hasn't been particularly good. And I guess when you look at the organisation in the side, it falls back really to the man who's going to touch the football more than anyone else. That's the dummy half and probably the first receiver, the halfback. So Shepherd really has to take control.
This is Markham. It's a very good kick by Ben Elias. He's kept it between the Eastern Suburbs players. They both had to think about it. Hudson plays the ball just outside the 20-metre line, or Seidenkamp it might have been. Nigel Gaffey almost comes up with the appearance of a veteran in this side. Eastern Suburbs, he's only a youngster, but when I look around him, probably the player that the Eastern Suburbs youngsters are most looking towards for the example. Brendan Hall's not all that old, and there's another player that has to take on maturity far in excess of his age.
Yeah, if they're looking at Gaffey, Ray, for some inspiration, he provides plenty of it. Good ball for Brasher.
Brasher into space. Morgan Edwards comes up, and Balmain get their 4th try. Oh, Brasher, he's like greased lightning when he hits the line, and they laid that together. They orchestrated for it, and they get it after 6 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
Well, this defence just opens up. It's a very simple play, and Brasher. Bruce Sinclair couldn't get to him, too much speed, and Edwards positioned himself well, so East's in more trouble now, and Balmain 20 block their lead.
Well, there wasn't much room for Brasher to go through here, but I think it's Brendan Hall doesn't even make a play at Brasher. And Sinclair, well, he couldn't come up with the tackle, and then, as all good players do, he positioned his support player perfectly, almost going away from the support player to take that last line of defence with him.
Nice piece of work involved there by Matt Munro. He's not looked upon as a ball player, Matt Munro. I don't think he is anyway. I can't recall that facet of his game, but he did that very, very nicely for Tim Brasher. The ball was there when Brasher wanted it. Here's Greg Burke, 20 metres out, bringing it around beautifully. And Balmain, 22. Eastern Suburbs, no score. Welcome back to Narrandera. Balmain enlarging their lead to 22 points to 0 on the other side of the break with a try by Morven Edwards. So they're cruising along. Balmain. A semi-final appointment seems assured for them.
Fatty, I've got no doubt it's the sweatband.
Oh, it's opened up again. Stapleton goes galloping down the ground. He's pulled down 30 metres out. Elias now to the 20. Sirinen gives the pass. Burke goes over the sideline. Balmain ripping them open now.
He's had some territory to cover there too. Nigel Gaffey came up with the try saver on Burke. Good bust here. What about just awful defence? That time it was Prothero. Fairly good quick play of the ball here at the end of it. Kept the momentum going. Sirinen charging down the left-hand side here. Positioned his winger very well where it shouldn't have come in. But fortunately for him, Gaffey covered the territory to come up with that tackle.
The man who missed that tackle, Prothero's been hooked straight off the football field. It's a problem for East. If you have a look at their forward pack, they've got Tony Iro, Mark Prothero, two former wingers, also Brendan Hall, who's a former 5'8" or centre. Move to the forwards. Now it's very hard. Too many blokes can do it to go from the backs to the forwards. So it's a whole new ball game for them, a new type of work rate, a new type of play. And maybe their work rate is letting them down.
That's an interesting subject that you've touched on there. You can let the mind wander back with the question, who's been the most successful back to convert to the forwards? There's been a long list of them. I can remember Jeff Gerard playing in the centres many years ago. Crusher Cleal, of course, comes to mind. But who's been the best of them? Terry Randall.
Started in the centres at Manly back in 72.
There's Edwards again. Oh, Eastern Suburbs, they're dropping off their work. That's Stapleton. I credited him with a run from Hudson Smith just earlier, which I'm sure he would like when he sees the replay. Sidelines with Gary Belcher.
I'd like to throw Gene Miles' name in there. I reckon he converted pretty well from the centres to the second row in his later years.
And I reckon the best of them was Noel Cleal.
It's an interesting rugby league question, that. Who's been the most successful? I got a funny feeling the bloke that Fatty Vorton put in the ring would go very close to being the best. Terry Randall.
Who's been the best forward that's gone to the backs?
John Rego, I suppose, comes to mind.
Current Brisbane Chief Executive.
Now, another mistake from Eastern Suburbs here. It's a comedy of errors for them at the moment. Nathan Wood with his thigh heavily bandaged gets out of dummy half. Orford comes up with a strong tackle. And it's just like this wave that keeps coming at Eastern Suburbs. They're opening up to it fairly readily.
Just on that subject, I better rush in and point out that Jay Raper was a back before he was a forward. Geez, you can forget some, can't you? Masala. You can find, if you check the records, Johnny Raper played 5'8" for Newtown. Way. Sirinen. Kicked through by Will Robinson. Didn't get the desired effect, but it was good execution. The weight was right.
There's Tim Brasher's been adjudged to being in front of the kicker. Brasher didn't agree. Let's have a look. We can line it up fairly well here.
Yeah, he was offside. Mistimed his run. That's the most important thing about those little kicks. You must stay on side to give yourselves any chance of some positive play coming out of it. Good run here by Lowry. He's picked up and driven by Sirinen and offloads in the tackle.
Brendan Hall. Get away from a couple of tackles. He runs into the shoulder of Richie Connell. James Smith in 16. Third quarter. He's nearly 13 minutes old, as Gaffey did very well. Brendan Hall gives the pass out for Shane Werrett. Werrett flicks it inside. And the big number 19 for Balmain, for the Eastern Suburbs side, gallops in for a try. That's Jason Hudson. Hudson gets the try.
And he deserves the try too. He's been close to his best along with Gaffey. Beautiful work on the inside, started by Gaffey to get that pass away. You'll see it here, hit by plenty of defenders. He was able to get the second phase play going. Brendan Hall, a lovely little pass over the top to the speed man, Werrett. Defence coming across, no cover defence from Balmain there until right on the line. Wood was beaten. Pearce will be disappointed that there weren't more cover defence.
Yeah, lovely delayed pass there. A balloony type pass by Hall. Werrett showed some good skill there to get the basketball job in. Look at this right foot step. He could have scored out wide, but he knows they need points and need a closer goal kick for their kicker. It's going to be Brendan Hall to take the kick without Ryan Smith in their side.
Fellas, Shane Werrett, for the limited amount of time he's been in the game, I know he played rugby league as a junior, but he was basically rushed into the top grade. Geez, I tell you what, he's improved quickly.
Yeah, he has. Every now and then, sometimes defensively can get caught out, but that takes just experience, but he's a very potent weapon for them. Obviously the speed is there, but you couldn't last in this game in the top grade if you were just quick.
Brendan Hall, 22 metres in, and he gets the extra 2 for Eastern Suburbs, so they're on the board at long last, but they're down 22 points to 6. Are they going to do a North Sydney for us or not? Gaffey's the man that started all of this. A couple of Balmain players fell off their work, and that was Shane Werrett. Well, this fellow, Jason Hudson, you've heard Paul and Peter already singing his praises. Jason Hudson. In fact, I'm sure he did. Gary on the side.
Yes, he actually played for Cronulla lower grades in 1993. Hails from the Newcastle area. Big raps on him from the Eastern Suburbs camp for his speed and his great footwork, as we saw in scoring that try.
Jason Lowry. Back to the 20-metre line. And talking of Jason Hudson, he's just run into Mark Geyer's hip. Sinclair. 17-15, Souths winning the third quarter final. And James Smith. Big run by him. Good pass by Seidenkamp. And Orford goes for the line. Oh, he's running away from them. And Eastern Suburbs are starting to come back.
Well, they've been inspired, Eastern Suburbs. The first try got them going. Jeff Orford has scored the second under the post, so that should take them to 12. But a great start for them. As you see, James Smith takes advantage of some poor defence there from Mark Geyer. I can't see the man who missed him, but Geyer needed to come across as well. Seidenkamp back on the inside. Looked like it might have broken down there, but he got the good ball to Orford, who's got great speed. He gets in between David Baysari. Well, Balmain defender.
Balmain's turn to go to sleep now. It's Dave Ronson who missed, but he had called Geyer was very slow in coming across to make the tackle as well. Now they finished off well. Jeff Orford, a lot of speed. They were never going to catch him. So Wayne Pearce, he's gone from, in 3 minutes, from being a very happy case to, I would imagine, most displeased.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with Mark Geyer there. You saw the pointing from David Ronson telling Geyer that he wanted him to get the man. There was just no reaction at all.
So the conversion is successful. Eastern Suburbs putting on tries almost back to back. 22 points to 12 now.
Not happy. Good run by James Smith, though. He's a nice young kid that East have been grooming. Comfort zone working overtime there. And he showed good skill there to run with the ball in front of his body, put the defence in 2 minds, and then offload a nice pass.
Restart time. Greg Burke works with the sideline. But, as it turns out, it was a great kick right down into the corner. And Jason Lowry again. Oh, Guy hammered this kid. Jason Hudson.
He's got straight back up. Good on him too. You don't show anybody that you hurt. He got him with a bell ringer.
Oh, God, did he hit him? Western looking for another opening. Surely they couldn't find another one, not this quickly. Balmain have gone to sleep in this quarter. Here they come again, Eastern Suburbs. Rod Silver turns the pass infield. And the Roosters, that's the turnover.
Oh, good option by the Roosters. Running the ball on the fifth tackle. Catching Balmain out. Balmain expecting the kick. In the end, it took a diving tackle by Runson to stop the movement. But Balmain, what are they doing?
You lead by 22. You start thinking of the flight home, and you're just closing up shop a little bit. It's the worst thing that you can do. You've got to remember what has been successful for you up to date will continue to be so. Concentration's just gone out the window with the Tigers at the moment. Got to rectify that. You just left plenty to say at three-quarter time as Edwards tackles just over the 40-metre line.
Getting very close to that break. Guy. There comes the ball out the back. Balmain come up with it, so 6 more tackles is ruled by David Manson. Sala takes it ahead. Baisari. Steve Edmed. Guy calling players around him. Inside the 20-metre line. Chance for Balmain for more points. Robinson on the run around with Richie Connell. Baisari has come out of that injured. Ben Elias. And there's the siren as the ball is knocked on by Seidenkamp. And at three-quarter time, 22-12 in favour of the Tigers. Started the final quarter then, and Eastern Suburbs came back. The third quarter to be down 22 points to 12. So is it going to be a case of Eastern Suburbs further whittling away the Balmain lead, or will Balmain shut them out and scoring another try here early in the last quarter? Sala running with great speed as a decoy before Edmed is the elected ball carrier. That's Richie Connell, and that's heavy body confrontation. James Smith and Richie Connell, they came together. Ben Elias on the halfway mark. Sala has made the mistake. And that's the risk you run when you put the ball low on a big man.
It's a shame Salary's had a fine game, and he showed exactly how to run a decoy there, as Rod Silver can't beat the tackle of Connell. You see some players go through as a decoy, and you know full well that they're not going to catch the football because they're not even looking where it's coming from. There's a spear tackle here on Jeff Orford. It's going to be addressed by the referee. No further action apart from the penalty.
Richie Connell's the offender. Let's go on to the sidelines. Gary Belcher.
Ray, Mark Murray very happy with Eastern Suburbs' comeback third quarter. Not too many instructions. He wants them to keep it pretty simple, try to get the rolling rucks going. He feels that the Tigers' defence is getting tired and brittle.
Yeah, Junior wants his team to lift their tempo a bit from the third quarter. He's saying that they're waiting for each other to do something. You've got to get in there and do it as a team. And one player we're going to hear a lot more of, that Richie Connell. Geez, he's a good player, that fella.
James Smith shut down. Long pass out for Gaffey. It landed on his bootlaces, but he was able to pick it up. Jeff Orford got away from some flimsy defence by the Balmain side. Is that Seidenkamp under there? Yes, it is. He was hammered. Now Shepherd. And the pass comes from Weston away from Iro. with Eastern Suburbs now only about 11 metres out from the line. Played by Gaffey. Sinclair comes storming onto it. 7 or 8 metres out from the Balmain line. Sattler through Shepherd. Weston tries to step. Last tackle now. Sattler a dummy half. Hudson puts the ball in the air. Not a bad kick. They go high. Seidenkamp, I thought, had a chance there for a moment. But Baisari wins the day for Balmain. Markham coming away from dummy half. This is Smith. Hudson Smith. A rugby league ring to it, does it? But from what we've seen him do, he's a damn good player. Edmed put away by Lowry. The kick is on for Nathan Wood. And the bring back for David Seidenkamp. Silver. Hudson. Hudson puts that step together, makes the break. Silver's coming up to support. Hudson tries to do it himself. Well, he's had a mighty game, this youngster. He's gone down injured in the back play as his work is carried on by Iro. A sweeping pass, but right behind the attacker. Orford it is. Now Werrett. 22-12. Balmain over Eastern Suburbs, but it's Eastern Suburbs who's coming home the stronger. James Smith out for Silver. Silver back for Weston now. Weston put away. There's the penalty to East. Raking the ball out against Balmain. Not interested in the 2 points. Played by Sinclair. And that touched Balmain's hand. 6 more tackles. Iro! A metre from the line. Kicked again. And another penalty goes to Eastern Suburbs. Well, he must be thinking about the sin bin here, David Manson. The 2 breaches we've seen have bordered on professional fouls.
It looked like he was in front there, Elias. He's been penalised for not standing in front of the man playing the ball. As the play continues now, they've taken another tap.
Dummy half Brendan Hall, right in front of the uprights, played by Smith. Hall gives it to Sinclair, and Sinclair scores! Adjacent to the uprights, and these Roosters, they've come from 22-0 to 22-16, 15 minutes to go.
And there's no more honest player in the game than Bruce Bruiser Sinclair, a former Tiger himself. And he's come to Eastern Suburbs courtesy of Balmain, North Sydney. And look at him go here. No one was going to stop him, and he's a happy man.
You saw that Elias made the tackle only a metre out. Both he and Baisari didn't get off the line quickly enough. And Sinclair, he had a head of steam up. And we've got a game now.
22-16. Balmain.
East are running home all over the Tigers.
Balmain. What's happened to them? We saw it the other night. And Brendan Hall raises the flag. 22 points to 18, the scoreline, 67th minute. Restart time for Greg Burke. On any of the occasions that Greg Burke has started the segments of the game, the passages, that any other player other than Jason Lowry has carried the football back. Probably means nothing, but it certainly indicates that Lowry is the man that puts his hand up probably first, then there's a job to be done. Brendan Hall. This big fella Smith, James Smith, Paul, he's done some things. Oh, intercept for Markham, and he's away for the try line, and Balmain lead 26 points to 18.
Well, incredible. An intercept won the game for South Sydney, courtesy of David Penner. This may just about wrap the game up for the Tigers. I think it was Craig Weston who threw the pass. Again, it was one that really wasn't aimed at anybody in particular. He had men out there, but Markham had done a great job. The umbrella defence, he got up quickly. Had enough speed to beat Nigel Gaffey. And they needed that, the Tigers. They were back on their heels.
Stroke of luck here for the Tigers. Weston looking to pick up some of his support out wide in Orford. Markham, let's call him Larry. Over he goes. Showed some style as he was running for that try as well.
Look at the face on him. He's a real baby face, isn't he? Looks very young. I'm just wondering how old he is. Blocker, can you find out?
No, I know how old he is, mate. He played in the flag last year. He's 19.
Fair enough. 3 from 4 for Greg Burke. Blocker, of course, was the coach of the flag last year with the Tigers. And Burke doesn't get it. 26 then to 18. Balmain over Eastern Suburbs. This was the intercept on a different angle. And Markham, pretty tall lad. And built very much like a young Larry Coral.
He did take a risk by coming in off his wing to because he left 2 East players outside him, so he had to make the intercept, and luckily he did.
Tim Basham out to the 20-metre line, and the time elapsed 69 minutes. So 11 minutes for Balmain either to hang on for a semi-final appointment as Mark Geyer makes a mistake, and that will give Eastern Suburbs a chance to come back. And this attendance today is 8 3/4,000. 8,746 to be precise. And the population here at Miranda is only 7.5. There's not too many people at home, although I must tell you that Miranda is the hub of a lot of scattered villages. Very much in the heart of wheat country. Little villages and a silo, and normally a pub pretty close by. Gaffey. Strong effort by Gaffey. Shepherd. Weston. This is the last now for the tricolours from Bondi. Into the air off the boot of Shepherd once more, and that's going to go over the sideline, but on the bounce.
Well, he gets actually hit the number 5 for Balmain there in Greg Burke, and he was the last man to touch it, so it'll be an Eastern Suburbs feed. He doesn't want anything to do with it.
Gets him on the back.
Well, I think he hits him on his head, and oh no, well, it's just touched him somewhere.
You're quite right, he was the last man to touch it, so Eastern Suburbs must get the feed. It doesn't matter whether he played at the ball or not. If you're the last man to touch it. And here's Eastern Suburbs. Wirrett goes in to score! Oh, how simple. Manson, a big smile on his face, almost like an Eastern Suburbs coach. 26-22.
Look at this very basic defensive lapse on the blind from the Balmain Tigers. And the first one comes from Nathan Wood. He didn't have to go in. He should have backed off because the lock forward, or I think it was Hudson Smith who was playing lock, had dropped out to cover the inside man. But Wood went in, and that in turn caused the winger to go in. And Burke left a free run for Wirrett.
Will be the last try that Shane Wirrett will score. It's not the first.